The record process here. So Dale's been doing leads with us, and he's doing a fair bit. I don't know if he had a chance to jump into the system yet, or if he's got a two-factor on there. But he's got a fair amount of leads, and he's actually connecting with a good chunk of them, which is great to see. He's keeping up with the database. I think where he's struggling with that database is actually converting them. So although he's having the conversations with them, he's not getting any of them to the next step with the amount of leads that he has in there. He should be, getting some traction with some of them. So it could just be, again, I listened to some of his calls. He has a great introduction. He pauses, he waits, he lets people answer. And so a lot of it may be more focused on the customer service side of the role of converting leads and talking to them, just the generalized conversation and not keeping it just so real estate and criteria focused, right? Which, that's what we're all trying to get at, is knowing what they're looking for and timelines and things like that. But a big component of your success and conversion is the actual relationship building aspect of it all, and keeping those relations and those conversations going.
And how much, since you've listened to some of his calls, tell me about like the qualifying piece of it, because you can have a pipeline and still say you're not converting, right?
Yeah.
So what's the qualifying piece like, as far as what has to happen for them to be able to make the move?
There isn't really any of that. So it's really kind of grabbing the timeline. He tries to most of the calls. I can see that he's trying to do that, but there's no questions, additional questions like, are you currently renting, or do you own a home, or why are we waiting till September to make this move, right? So, the info grabbing of getting more information about the lead and their situation is probably what's missing the most. Is really learning more about the person, the reason behind the move, what's holding them back from making a move. Why are they waiting? Because a lot of them are first-time buyers, so we can assume that, they're currently renting, right? Or they're living at home. But it's not, asking that question of, are you currently renting right now? And are you in a lease term? Are you month to month? So we can kind of try to figure out, put the pieces together, what that timeline looks like. Are we saving for a down payment, right? So it's that, those qualifying aspects of learning more about the individual themselves, to help him take them to the next level, help them guide them through to the next step.
So it sounds like, is it a bit more of a focus of how many bedrooms, what location, what kind of home? Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and those are safe questions, right? Those are questions that even people that aren't making a move would answer, right? So I think while waiting, just to let me know when he's in.
I'm here. I'm here.
Sorry. There you are! Yay!
Okay.
Oh.
So I'm just going to follow. I'm just going to follow with my thought here. I'm speaking from myself, because this was a process that I had to go through myself. I was very uncomfortable asking questions because honestly, I didn't want the answer, right? I didn't want to be told that they're not buying until next year. I didn't want to be told that they don't have the money to buy. I didn't want to be told something that would disqualify them. So I would keep the conversations going based on but really where the meat is in qualifying and getting over that discomfort of, I kind of need to know like what has to happen for you to make a move, because
I actually, sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I actually asked those questions even for bedrooms or something, but it seems like a lot of them, like, there's a percentage of them that would answer shot. There's a percentage of them that would already have an agent that would take advantage of me. I kind of have taken a lot of people from showing, like, but they not.
Your audio is cutting out, Adil.
Questions like that deep into exactly what they wanted. So like one person, I'm just waiting for December. So I just dug right in as like something that has to happen in December. And then she mentioned that interest rates or something would change. and then basically give them the general idea, okay, what they're saying. And I basically, the stochastic method that you kind of lead them to answers. So I asked them, what do you think would happen when the interest rate drops? Because if you're waiting for interest rate to drop, what do you think would happen to the prices when it goes down? So she answered is, look, the prices would go up. And it's like, then what do you want to do? You want to buy now? I know it's a little bit higher. Then it becomes a numbers question then. What kind of a dollar amount are you willing to lose? So I kind of got them I kind of got the lead at that point after the feedback.
Okay.
Then she ended up as I would have to talk to my husband, which is okay. I'll follow up and then take it from there. But what I'm noticing is a lot of people just.
Are you on your cell phone? Are you sitting in a location? Okay. Your volume's coming in and out, and it's making.
I am sitting now.
Okay.
Okay, sorry, I'm now.
I missed a lot of what you were saying. Unfortunately, I didn't get like the full scope, but I'll tell you what I did here was really great. It sounds like you are digging deep with this particular lead. Because it always comes down to how much you're willing to pay a month. It doesn't matter. Like, let's get past the interest rate. Let's get past the prices. And what do you want to pay a month? And how can it work? So it sounds like you're going into the depths. Do you feel it's more of a qualifying? But let me ask this: with your conversations, when you don't feel like you're converting at the level that you feel you should, tell me about that. What is it?
There are a couple of people that I'm having good conversation with, and I've shown them I'm following up regularly. One of them even had an agent, and I kind of got the sense early on that he doesn't want to be pushed, so I just gave him a little bit space, because the other agent was pushy and he dropped them, and he called me up and say, okay, you're the only agent. So I was happy about that, but that gut feeling is not converting to sales. Like, okay, I can have great conversations with a lot of people, I can connect with other people, but that hump that I'm not able to cross is like, okay, how to sell it to them. I know they're going to buy it on their own pace, and a lot of people have their own criteria, but there would be some percentage that would kind of filter down and match up, being the amount of calls that I make every day, and the coaching that I've gotten. I should have been able to do something. So I feel that I was lacking somewhere. I just can't put my finger on it.
Okay. So I'm going to ask another question in regards to, yes, we are salespeople, and yes, we need to close the deal. However, when we're closing the deal, I feel if we qualified the lead and we knew what had to happen for them to make that move, we wouldn't have to fall back on that question of, I don't feel like I'm selling them. I feel like there's something missing. Because when people are buying a home, we can't make them move at a pace that's convenient for us. It's all about their timing. So the only thing that makes a move happen is that we have made that marriage of opportunity and expectation. So when the buyer has an expectation and the opportunity is in the market, we can make it happen. But if we're talking to leads and they literally have to have something happen in their life to be able to pull the trigger, there's nothing that we can do to make that sale. So I guess that's what I'm going to ask you, because it sounds like you're having good conversations. Do you feel at all that you're trying to fit these people into your time frame and not letting it transpire into where their time frames need to be met?
Actually, it's the other way around, because if they're not, I cannot force anybody to buy at any point. Like, it's their money. They're the hero in their own movie. I'm just a supporting person. I always feel that if I let go, if you have a fine medium, you have to follow up enough, but not too much. So I think maybe I'm not getting that right, because some people have told me, oh, they already bought. Now, it could be true, it could be false.
Yeah,
I
right.
don't know. And like one of the leads I kind of press is, okay, like you didn't tell me that you were going showing houses and everything. And it was like, oh, she paused for a bit. I was like, oh, my husband got it. So, I
Yeah.
mean, but what, like the numbers kind of have, the numbers don't lie, right? So only the problem that I could see would be with me, that I'm not doing something that those numbers are not lining up.
Okay.
And every time I get a coaching, I kind of adapt that. I got a coaching once that, okay, have a great conversation, tell them this is your number, save it. So I'm kind of adapting that in every call that I'm able to
Oh.
get past a few questions. Crystal recently told me to just dig in a little bit deeper, which so I kind of got that idea. So I'm doing it that way. And I don't have a script. I kind of have an opening lineup, which I switch around with a couple of, and then whatever the person responds, I kind of use that and direct the conversation in a certain way. Like my end point is get as much information as I can, but I don't have a script that I'll say this. I just kind of go with the flow. Whatever the person says, I kind of acknowledge that and frame my question in a certain way that, it leads to a destination. Some of the questions I kind of already know the answer, so I'm kind of leading them that way. But that's the only thing I know how to do it. Not a salesperson. So
Well, and
that's it.
that's active listening is what
Yeah.
you're explaining. And I don't script either. Because
Okay.
scripting takes you out of the conversation because you're not really active
Okay.
listening. You're just thinking about what you want to say next. So asking those questions is very, very vital. So taking this just a little step further in that follow-up communication is in putting the follow-up, putting that ball back in their court and asking them,
Okay.
how would you like me to follow up? When would you like me to follow up? What exactly are you looking for throughout your home buying experience? Most don't know, right? They don't know what they don't know. But if the gentleman that you had said that got rid of his agent because that agent was too
Yeah.
pushy, what are you looking for in a real estate agent? I want to be able to set myself apart. And the one thing that I absolutely can guarantee you is I'm going to fully listen to what your needs are. And that's what's important to me for me to help you. Because if I don't have an idea of what you're not willing to compromise on, I can't really give you advice. Right. So it's all about when they say they may have an agent on the other side. Okay, that's well and good and great, but I'm not leaving it at that because there's a lot of shitty agents out there. And there's a lot of people out there that just open the door, write a contract, and take a paycheck. But the reality is, my job is to protect your investment. So I have to ask you, I don't want to take business away from another agent. However, I do want to ensure that you are 110% confident that that agent is protecting your hard-earned money and your biggest investment that you're ready to take on. And it kind of puts the ball in their court and gets their brains thinking like, and just say, have they sat down and talked to you about your expectations? Do they know exactly what it is that you're looking for? Because I come up with, I'm finding off-market properties all the time. And my job is to get your expectations and find you homes that aren't even on the market yet. Are they doing that for you? And when you take that conversation to a whole new level, because in reality, right, if we're out there truly doing our jobs and earning their business, why wouldn't we want to be finding off-market properties? Because hello, that's going to give us a listing. So if you give me your criteria of what you're looking for, I can go back and look at people that bought 5 years ago, 7 years ago that may be ready to sell. Is your agent doing that for you? What can I do for you to earn the opportunity for your business? Work for them as if, because the worst thing that's going to happen is you might land a listing appointment. So whether they have an agency with somebody else or whether they've got what, if you're having these conversations, and Crystal, you can back me up on this one, I'm sure that this is a very higher level webinar than what we usually have because everyone's pitching about their leads that they can't even get a hold of. And I'm like,
Yeah.
whoa, we got somebody that can have the conversation. So now
Yeah, he's
bring
having
the
lunch.
value in the conversation with your value proposition and what sets you apart from the average SMO, what sets you apart from the other agents that you're talking to, what value can you bring to them and help them to understand that at a different level and attract them instead of chasing them.
So this basically what the gist of it, what I got is you trying to sell yourself, differentiate yourself from other agents in a way that, you know, increases your value in their mind. Now, that strategy would be applied to if I'm competing with other agents. Now,
It would be
if
applied to anybody because
anybody, okay,
that's a principle across the board. Any buyer,
okay,
right? Our job is to understand their expectation and create the opportunity. That is sales. It's not word porn selling. It's tell me about your expectations of what you are looking for. If I had a magic wand and I could deliver the perfect home at the perfect price for you, what would that look like? And then I can get a gauge if they're smoking crack or not. Well, I want like this mansion for half the fraction of the cost, right? Okay, well, let's get realistic. They make, because when you project that out there for people, you ask a seller how much you want to sell your home for. Well, $1 million, right? And it's like a $500,000 house. Like everyone's going to joke about, okay, now let's get realistic here. Like, what is it that you really want that would make you say, yes, I've got it. Oh my God, this is like the greatest opportunity. What does that look like? And go out and look for it. But be realistic with them and be honest with them and let them know, say, I love that that's your expectation. Because if I found that, I would buy it myself, right? And having fun with that unrealistic expectation, but getting them into my job is meeting your expectation and finding an opportunity. And once we explain it to them in that way, then we can get to the meat. If I found that property that met your expectation, are you prepared to take that next step?
okay.
Because that is what tells the story. Oh shit, no, I got a home to sell. Oh shit, no, I don't have enough money for a down payment. Oh shit, no, I right? Oh, that's when you feel the fear from them.
So what you're saying is, okay, you project yourself as a, like, differentiate yourself in a better way with other agents. You find their expectation, and then you try frame your questions to dig in as much information as you can from that conversation to move the ball ahead.
Yes. And really
Okay.
deep questions, right? It's first
Mhm.
of all, I want to know, do you own or do you rent? Because that in of itself tells a story. If they own a home, how long have you been in your home? Well, depending on the time frame is going to speak to the equity. If they rent, are you in a lease term or month to month? That's defining a time frame. How much
Okay,
are you
yes.
currently paying, whether you're renting or you own a home, how much are you currently paying a month? Is that a comfortable number for you, or do you have flexibility to increase that? That's giving you a price range.
Range of the monthly payments. Got it.
Now that I know their time frame, now that I know possible equity, now I know first time home buyer without asking those defined questions, what has to happen? Like, what is your expectation? What would make you go, I got to move today? Because nobody wants to do that, right? Let them dream a little bit. Let them explain to you what exactly their expectations are. And sometimes they don't even know. When you ask them that question, they're like deer in the headlights. And that tells a story, because that means they're just online kind of just bouncing around looking, and there's no real sincerity to the follow through. So when
Okay,
you give
and
expectation,
okay.
say, my job is to find the opportunity, and leaving anybody else out of it, and say, well, the way I work, I'm a little bit different than most agents. My job is to find you the opportunities that you're not going to be up against any competition. I like to find the off-market properties. So the more I know about what the perfect expectation is for you, the easier it makes my job to find these properties for you. And then have your strategic plan, right? Start your research. You can go into your MLS and pull up properties that sold 5 years ago. Do your property cross check, make sure they haven't sold within the last 5 years or 7 years. Now, if you know they want 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms and they want a half-acre lot, search your criteria down and just look at what sold back then. Start sending letters. I have a buyer. So you're now like you're bookending your business now, because I don't really care if they buy a house, because now I'm focusing on, I have a buyer. And that's even validity for door knocking. Like, I have a buyer, because you understand wholeheartedly what their expectations are. If you can make that marriage happen.
Just one question. This whole thing, will it be too pushy if the the flow of the conversation allows to have it in just one conversation? Like, if things are moving ahead at a steady pace and there is no awkwardness in the conversation, can I even go like, okay, if you want, I can refer you some mortgage agents,
Yes.
so they could qualify. So
let's do a role play. Okay.
Okay.
What area are you in? What location?
Durham region. Let's say Oshawa.
Durham. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to be the agent and you're going to be the lead. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm just going to ring and you just say hello. So ring.
Okay. Hello.
Hey, this is Beverly. Just doing a quick check-in here. It looks like you were online looking at some homes in the Durham area.
Yes, I was.
You were? What exactly are you looking for?
A nice home in a reasonable price.
Aren't we all? Have you found anything yet?
Yeah. No, I just started looking.
Now, is it the nice home or is it the reasonable price that you haven't found?
Trying for both, nice home and at a reasonable price if I could get it.
Understood. And in regards to your current situation, do you own or do you rent right now?
I own right now.
You own? How long have you been in your home?
2 years.
2 years. What's the reason for the move?
It's a smaller home. I'm looking for a bigger place.
Great. So hypothetically, what's your perfect time frame? When would you like to be in a home?
As the right property comes along, there's nothing stopping me.
So tell me about the right property. What is the right property?
3,000 square feet, minimum 4 bedrooms, 3 baths.
Perfect.
And
go ahead.
Good. And the Oshawa or Ajax.
Okay. So if I were to find that nice, great priced home, how fast would you be able to move forward with it?
Like, I can make an offer to purchase right away with a closing in 2 months.
Beautiful. So are you keeping your current home or would you be selling your current home?
I'll be selling my current home.
And do you know if you have to sell it to be able to make the purchase, or are you able to make the purchase without selling it?
I can make the purchase without selling it.
Perfect. 100% beautiful. So I've got 3,000 square foot. I've got your criteria.
Okay.
Now, what would prevent you, if I found this home, what would prevent you from utilizing my services?
Nothing.
Nothing. Beautiful. So as far as your home, is it something that you would want to keep and rent out, or would you be selling that home after you made
I will be selling that home.
Okay. So as far as moving forward, we all know that it's for a sale to happen, right? Me understanding your expectations, I'm going to go out and find the opportunity. How long have you been online searching?
I just started.
You just started. So how many agents have you spoken to?
I haven't spoken to anyone as yet, though.
Haven't. So I'm the first?
You're the first.
Awesome. So what can I do besides finding the opportunity, meeting your expectations? What are you looking for throughout this experience? Now, you bought your last home. Did you have any bad experiences in your last home purchase?
No, it was okay. I was the one who was sending the properties to the agent, and he was taking me for a showing. So in terms of what you could do is just send me the properties that are, fitting my requirement, and that's it. Like, if I like the property, I'm going to make the purchase.
Perfect. So what helps me to really understand your expectations? I'm going to look at what's on the market right now, and I'm going to send a batch over, and let's talk about having a conversation just to look over those, because I want you to say, oh, no, 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 no. Oh, this one's okay. Because the more we kind of process of eliminate of what's out there right now, it tells me really what you're looking for. Because what I really love to do, I know you had mentioned your last agent, right? It's like you were finding the properties, and what did you really pay the agent for, right? Because you were doing all the work. I like to be able to go find off market properties. So the more I know about what your expectations are, I can broaden our range of what you're exactly looking for. And a nice thing about off market property sometimes is it doesn't sound like you're in a major hurry to make a move, right? It's if the right property comes up. Yeah. So when you find an off market property, they weren't in a hurry to move either. It's just kind of comes up off the cuff, right? So it really can create a great marriage. So as far as emailing over to you, I'm going to confirm your email address. When would you like me to follow up with you and give you a chance to look at the emails that I send over to you?
Let's do it next week.
Okay. And who is part of this complete decision? Is it you, significant other?
Both of us, me and my wife.
Okay. So you'll be able to take the time to look over the homes with her as well?
Yes, that's why I need a week, yeah.
Perfect. So next week, what day and time is best for you next week?
Same today at the same time you're talking
Okay.
right now.
Now, I know I'm not yet a priority in your life. However, if I send the email over, you get the email, and I give you a call next week, do you want me to call you? Yeah. What if you don't answer the phone? Do you want me to follow up by a text? Do you want me to just call you a couple hours later? How would you like me to follow up with you if you're not able to answer?
Call me a couple of hours later.
Okay, perfect. And then if I call you a couple hours later and you're still busy, do you want me to shoot you a text, call you the next day, or call you later?
Then I'll call you back.
Perfect. Now, you just said you call me back. Can I hold you to that?
Absolutely, yes.
Perfect. I don't want to blow up your phone, but you can understand on my side, I feel like, oh my gosh, what did I do? What did I do? I don't want to feel like I did something wrong. So just need that communication, right? So
Okay.
awesome. I'm going to get an email out to you. I would probably get off script here. I'd probably get a little bit more information of what I'm going to send over to you, right? But now I've completely created an expectation. You know exactly what I'm going to be doing for you. And now you've made a promise to me. And I
But
took that pressure off.
Yeah, the question that you asked, what's going to prevent you from signing up with me? You're kind of creating a commitment there between an agent and so kind of it's a verbal commitment, goes, subconscious that okay, I'm committed. There's nothing preventing me. That's what you were trying to do?
Yes.
Okay.
All my questions are very subliminal because I don't like to ask people, have you talked to a lender? Are you pre-approved? Right? It's, do you know how much? And I can go back, re-listen to this call and Monday morning quarterback and say, oh my God, because I'm sitting here thinking like, oh God, I didn't even ask you like how much you were paying, right? Versus what price range you were looking at. So I should have also asked in that conversation, how much are you paying a month in your mortgage? Are you trying to keep your mortgage payment at that? And what you're looking to purchase, do you know what your mortgage payment would be? Because that would be opening it up to talking to a lender then.
So I understand the gist of it. Like, yeah, I might miss more questions than what you asked, but what you're saying is go with the flow of the conversation, create a relationship, try and create a commitment between a customer, or sorry, a lead and an agent, and take it in the sense that okay, and you even setting expectations that okay, when to follow up, because I've never done that. I've never created a commitment. I've never asked. I just tell them, okay, is it okay with you? So you're framing it a little bit differently. That too I do with some people, but this is a good thing. Okay, you're asking commitment. When should I follow up? What's a good time for them? And then what to do if, let's say, you don't pick up, because that happens a lot.
And did anything on your side feel uncomfortable? Were you like, oh my God, she's so pushy, or oh my God, this is like, I don't even know how to answer this. Like, what did it feel like on your side as a lead?
No, I kind of do, but I can understand if a lead is hesitant, there's something that she's not telling, or that the lead is not telling. I would frame my question as like, is there preventing? So like, don't ask it directly. ask it in other words that, just open up another set of conversation that kind of get that information out as to what the fear is. If they're just looking and they have no intention to purchase, they have no intention to purchase, then I won't waste my time. I'll just follow up them 6 months down the road and like, okay, it's still, the timeline is okay or not.
Well, and that's where it's very important when people say, I'm just looking, because that's kind of where you were, right? Well, what has to happen to make it, right? And
Yeah.
so even though you really didn't give me a time frame, you just bought 2 years ago. I knew you're not in a hurry. Like nobody that bought a house 2 years ago, unless they're relocating, is in a hurry to make a move, or unless they really hate their neighbors, right?
Mhm.
So it is just kind of going with the energy of what that conversation is like on the other side. And so I spun that into, if we find an off-market property, there's not going to be any urgency because it's not on the market. Like we can work through it, but my job, so I really put the emphasis on my job creating that opportunity. And I was qualifying you because if you're like, I might move forward if you find that property, but honestly, I'm really not that serious. Then you know not to put the time into them. But everybody, well, let's say 85% of your leads are just looking.
True.
But I want to know, great, you're just looking. I'm always just looking at everything. I want to buy everything, right? I'm always just looking at going on a cruise, but I never make the commitment, right? Because I don't have to. So what we do want to know is, what are your future plans? You're just looking now today, but what are your future plans? So if you remember when I asked you, so when would you like to be in a new home? Not when do you want to move, not what day do you want to move? It's when would you like to be in another home? And then it's kind of like you're getting a time frame. And if they go, I have no idea, I haven't really thought about it, then you kind of know. But I don't let my just lookings go. I want to know without a doubt, what's your future plans?
Now, do you push them? Let's say if they say, I don't know. Do you push them, like try to,
If you did know,
frame a question?
if you did know,
Okay. Okay.
if you did know,
Okay.
perfect house, like you're online, if that perfect house, like what would make you go, oh, maybe I do want to move? Because you just want to get to what exactly they are looking for. And just look at our own habits whenever we're doing research online to buy something. All of us innately put stuff in our shopping cart and don't hit the checkout button. And sometimes we'll go back a day or two later and we order it, but a lot of times it just sits there because we don't really need it and we don't pull the plug. And that's what we're trying to gauge in these conversations is, how serious are they? And believe it or not, when you ask the just looking folks, so just future, like what are your future plans? I don't know. Well, if you did know, if I had a magic wand and I can put you in the exact perfect home, what would that look like for you? I don't know. Then you can let the just lookings go.
Okay.
But if they come back and they're like, well, it'd be nice to be in something for fall, because then I would love to have my family over in my house for Christmas because my house right now is too small. Right. So now you're getting them like, so you want a bigger house and you want to entertain for Christmas. Now we got some pain.
So when you say just looking to go, like you still follow up with them in like maybe 6 months or 3 months,
It
whatever.
depends, right? And that's why it's so important that we take that conversation as far as we can, because the chances of them answering the phone again when we call them 4, 5, 6, 7 months are very slim.
Very
So
slim. True.
I want to know, what are your future plans? Because then I can qualify them if I want to follow up or not. Right?
Okay.
Because it's everyone's future plans are different. And so when I look at following up with somebody on my calendar for me to set a task, I have to be pretty sure that if I do everything that I should be doing, I have a 70% chance or more of getting them to the table to close. So even if they're, oh my gosh, well, my kids are going to have to graduate from university in a year, and then my husband's looking to retire. So all of those things have to be in alignment in 2 years. What can I be doing in the meantime? So you're just online looking, and I'm sure that you're curious as to what's going on with prices and interest rates, and we have no idea where the market's going to be in 2 years. What can I be doing for you in the meantime over the next couple of years? How often would you like me to check in? And honest to God, people are like, once a week. Huh? Wait, you're 2 years out. Why do you want me to check in with you once a week?
Oh.
And then following up with, all right, so once a week, that seems a bit much. I love you. We've had great conversations, and I've become great friends with some of my clients. It's all about relationship building, right? I would love to check in with you once a week. How would you like me to check in with you? How often would you like to receive new homes that are coming on the market? Put the ball in their court. Ask them what their
What I
needs
was
are.
going to say.
It's all about them. And for us, we eat, breathe, sleep, and drink real estate. So we think we know what to give everybody. But the truth is, everyone's situation is so completely different, and everyone communicates so differently. So if they tell us how to communicate, not only are we creating a more trusting relationship, doesn't it take the complete doubting of our minds of, oh my God, I set a reminder. I don't feel like it feels like I'm calling this person too soon. Like, why am I calling them right now? Because when they tell you, it takes that second guessing out of it for us. We're like, well, they said they wanted me to follow up, so I'm going to follow up.
Makes sense. Now, one more thing, Beverly, it kind of skipped my mind. If I'm sure everybody has that. If you call a person a couple of times, you're trying to get a hold of them, sometimes they block their number. So is it okay just to, try it from the cell phone, just once a week, the whole
Yeah.
list? Okay.
Yeah. So even, try from a different number, right? And then if they answer, if they're like, I didn't know this was you, say, oh my God, I had to get a new phone, right? Yeah. And
Okay.
I will tell you this, out of I'm going to say hundreds of thousands of phone calls I've made over the course of a lot of years, the people that I have followed up with that have ghosted on lenders, that have ghosted on agents, that have ghosted on me, 9 chances out of 10, they did not end up moving forward. Something in their life got away.
Okay.
And that's why the follow-up is so important. Now that 1 in 10, yes, they did make a move, right? Because for some reason, I wasn't convenient for them. And that's what it comes down to. But for the most part, people are lazy. And once they land on somebody that does that follow up in the communication, they don't have to look anywhere else because you're delivering. You've met their needs. They don't have to go looking somewhere else. Now, is it going to happen? They drive by a property and they make a phone call and then they slip under some other agents? Yeah, absolutely. We're not going to convert everybody. We're not going to win them all. But within those conversations, we're setting ourselves up for those follow-ups. And and that's why I always like to say, because even with you, you're like, okay, call me and just call me back 2 hours later. Okay, well, I know I'm not a priority yet if you don't answer the phone the second time, if your day got away from you, need it. I want to know, like, if I call you 2 times, I'm just trying to do my job. I don't want to blow up my phone. I've made a commitment to you, and I want to follow through with my commitment. And then you can even go as far as to ask, if anything changes, can you just please do me a favor? My ego really needs a response, because I don't want to go to bed and wake up in the middle of the night thinking about you as much as I like you. But it will really bother me if I don't know, like, why you don't communicate back with me. And now you're creating a little bit of even more of a pain. It's okay to say that to people. Because then when they don't answer the phone, they're like, oh yeah, I don't want them to be up tonight thinking about me. Right?
Got it. The one more question just came to my mind. If you are, there'll be leads that say, "Oh, I already have an agent," and then I go with like, "Are you committed to that agent?" and that whole thing. How far should I be pushing it in terms of, I'll say this is my value, I've done some professional designation courses that's going to help, let's say, negotiate expert, differentiate myself. But uh, let's say, because I always find if the relationship for that agent is really close, like dad's friend, brother-in-law, it's very hard for somebody to convert them because they already have that trust with that person. How how much would you push them? Like, you give it your best shot, but in the back of your mind, it's like, okay, he's not gonna go. So I just want to know, is there like a sense that you have, like, okay, you will push this much?
Ring, ring.
Okay, hi.
Hey, this is Beverly. I saw that you were online looking at some homes in Durham. Just wondering kind of what is your situation? What you looking for?
Yeah, I'm just looking at homes. I have an agent already, so he's helping me out, but I just wanted to check the prices. That's why I was online. Your website required me to put in information, so that's the only reason I
Oh
put
God,
it in.
don't you hate that?
Yeah, I
And
know.
here you are talking to me. All right, so
Yeah.
how long have you been looking?
It's been 3 months now.
And have you been in any homes with this agent, or you just kind of been looking online?
No, I've been to a few homes. I've been to a few open houses as well. So he's just a relative of mine that's helping me out.
Oh, gotcha. And what's the experience been like so far? Why hasn't any home worked out?
Uh, I haven't found the right home as yet.
Awesome. And just questioning because there's so many agents out there. It seems like everybody has a real estate license today. How many homes is he sending you that you don't know about that you're going out looking for? Or are you finding the homes and telling him you want to go look? Just curious.
Well, like he sends me a listing every other day, and if I like it, I basically ask him to show me the house.
Gotcha. So just because I have to sleep at night, and like I said
Mhm.
before, right, it just seems like everybody has a real estate license. And I know he's a relative of yours. I do not want to take business away from anybody. However, do you mind if I just share a quick story?
Go ahead.
So I had a client that was working with his brother, and he was going to be like doing his commission adjustment or whatever because he was a relative, right? But what he found out was he was kind of the bottom of the barrel client, and he wasn't getting all the listings, and he wasn't getting everything, and it was really frustrating him because he needed to make a move. So sometimes whenever you're working with family, maybe they don't work as hard as what somebody else will be working. Does that make sense?
Makes sense.
So would you mind if I could just be a backup? If anything were to change, would you mind having a backup if he wouldn't be available or something would come up?
Yeah, I don't mind.
Okay. So the second question I want to ask you, as far as your experience, you said that he's sending you a list of properties and then, whatever. Is he digging deep to know, like, is he sending you any properties that may not be on the market?
I'm not sure. I think he is, but I'm not sure.
Do you 110% trust him that he is doing absolutely everything in your best interest to protect your investment?
I think he does. I'm not sure.
Okay. That is fair. As I said, I don't want to take business away from anybody, but what exactly are you looking for? So I would get your information, and I would say, if I found, because expectations, right? If I were to find a home that was not on the market, would you be open to me sending that to you?
Yes, I will be.
Okay. And I wouldn't even mind. I can talk to your relative. I wouldn't mind just working out a referral with him. How does that sound?
Okay. Sounds good.
At the end of the day, it's about you finding what's meeting your expectations, right?
Yep, true.
Because you probably really don't care who sells you the house, do you? You just want somebody to sell you the house that meets your expectations, right?
Absolutely right. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Tell me, how did that conversation feel? Did you
It
feel
felt
pushed?
really good. No, I wasn't feeling pushy. You addressed the concerns about me being like, my relative, and you
Now I
you
made you
mentioned that.
question him,
Okay.
didn't I? I made you
Yeah.
question him, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can't confuse them.
Convert, confuse. I like it. I like it. Well, and it all goes back to them and their needs and knowing what your competition's not doing. Because I promise you, the biggest majority of the agents are just their clients are on autopilot, right? Especially if it's a relative. And then you
True.
can even take it as, it's, do you really want your relative to know about your financial situation? Is that comfortable for you? Do you love your relative enough that what if something goes sideways? What's that going to do to your relationship? Are you able to keep the personal and the business relationship separate? Because I've had horror stories with best friends. I will not work with my best friends. No bueno. It's not worth it, because friends and family have a higher expectation and they are much, much more difficult to work with. And I promise you that lead knows it too. And that lead feels it, but they feel obligated, which is why at the end, I'm like, I'll work a referral out with your relative. I'm fine with that. Because then it's like, oh my God, there's wait, referral. What do you mean? How does that work? Right. So then you can kind of remove that obligation a little bit. And as I said, you're not going to win them all, but truly, I have to sleep at night and I look at every lead as I have to save you from a bad experience. And we all know if it's a very close relative, they're waiving the commissions, right?
Well, nobody works for free, or they're giving a cashback or something. But I understand the point that you're trying to make. You're giving your 100%, exploring every single avenue. You're basically taking every drop of juice out of them just to make sure, okay, now, the juice is not what the squeeze. Now you could go.
Yes. And then if that phone call ends and there's just absolutely no way that, no, it's my sister and oh my God, like that would end up in like a family squabble. And then, so that's why we have the tag, right, of FO has agent or buyer lost has agent, because I feel there's a different level of having an agent. And one of the biggest things that I see in shifting markets is people may have an agent, but then life happens and they don't end up buying, and that agent doesn't stay with them when they are able to recommit. Because what happens, right? Those people ghosted the agent. The agent's like, they're sitting in someone's dashboard as showing, and then they never follow back up. And they're like, oh my God, I haven't talked to them for like 6 months. Why ain't going to call them now? They probably buy a house. But you coming in, right? If they had an agent 6 months ago and they haven't bought, whoop, those are the easiest to convert. So I love, that's my favorite list in my database is people that say they have an agent. Say, well, great, I'll just check in a few months and see how things are going. Now, I don't call them and say, oh, last time we talked, you had an agent. I'm just going to call them and say, hey, last time we talked, I know you were looking for homes. Just wondering, did you ever find anything? No, we actually put it on hold. Yes. Yes.
And then take that conversation, why I was on hold. Okay,
No,
got the point.
So if you can rewind our conversation, right? I asked you, I didn't say anything. I didn't acknowledge that you had an agent, but subliminally I acknowledged it. I want to know how long you've been online looking. And I wanted to know if you had been in any homes, because that tells a story. So tell me about that. Why didn't it work out? Why haven't you found the right home? Because how many agents don't listen and show the wrong properties? And then you're going to get the story back, because I talk to a lot of buyers that are very frustrated with their agents, that they're like, I gave them a price range and they're showing me over my budget, or I gave them a location. They're not even showing me the right place. And the reason being is the buyer, their expectations are out there, right? They may have this price range in this location, but to get that location, it has to be in this price range. They may have this location in this price range, but to get this location, they got to change the price range. So the buyer or the agent takes them out of the area to get a price range, and it's not the right area, instead of being honest with them. And that's what I'm trying to get to in my conversation when they say they have an agent. Great, I don't want to take business away from it. Just tell me about the experience, because that's also telling me what my competition's doing. I don't need to know the agent's name. I just want to know how bad my competition is at delivering service.
Okay, awesome. Got the idea. Motivated now. I'm gonna make some calls.
Very good. Yeah, it's just putting a spin. I know we didn't get to call any leads, but this was wonderful. As far as just role playing, and thank you so much for being such a great role player. That was wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you,
I think,
actually.
Of
Yeah.
course. Yeah, just really always have your value proposition in your back pocket. What
Okay.
if you don't know what it is? What stands you apart from your competition? What makes you different? What can you deliver to your leads that your competition won't deliver? And you know, the best exercise for me was every day I would go into my sandbox and I would look at what properties came on the market today. And I would look at the listing agent and I'd be like, oh my God, they listed with, oh my God, oh, right. But that was my fault because that seller didn't even know I was an option. So I made it my mission to ensure that everybody I came into communication with knew I was open for business, because it's completely my job to let people know that they have options.
Okay.
So really allow that to like be your motivation, is how bad of service that other agents give to their people. And it's not everybody. I mean, I'm sitting here saying like it's like there's like you're the only agent out there that gives great service. It's not everybody, but the level of entry into real estate, for the amount of money of potential that can be made in real estate, the level of entry is and it attracts people that probably shouldn't be in real estate.
But I see like the thing that I got is you creating doubt in their mind, right? They have to be 1000% sure to say no to you. So that's that you basically raising the bar for them to say no. Like it had the other agent has to be really good.
Yep. And have fun with it, practice it, find a role play partner, because
Yeah.
role play is empowering. If you can get over like the awkwardness and the weirdness of the role play, but what's so cool about role play is you don't lose anything. You're not losing anything, and it empowers you to say things that you probably wouldn't say to a lead. But what it does is, as you're practicing that role play, it's allowing you to find your voice. It's allowing you to get more comfortable saying certain things. So you could probably rewind and look at the first time you called a lead, that conversation versus today.
Oh, that's a world of difference. That I know. That
Right.
I know.
And that's what makes this even another level, right? So you start role playing and you start stretching that conversation a little bit further, getting a little bit even more of your comfort zone. It's going to take those conversations to another level.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm missing. Just, just there's a barrier that I cannot cross. So I think that was it. So
Yep.
I'll practice. Of course, I'm not going to get it right in the first time, but I mean, at least you've shown me a way. Okay, follow this path and probably get there.
And this is recorded. So, and I know
Yeah.
Agent Locator, they're so great about breaking these webinars up into little bits. Those two role plays, Crystal, would be great ones to break up and put into just a post.
Yep. I'll mention it.
Yeah.
Our team.
Because that's really the huge missing piece. Like when you get that lead in conversation on the phone, I got to know everything, because it comes down to the organization in your database too. Like I have to know where to put them. If I don't ask enough questions and really truly qualify them to a level of, you're either on my radar or you're like way out in left field. I want to be able to organize you and know where to put you, what tag to put on you, so that I do know how, if, or when I want to check in with you. So that qualification piece is key to building that pipeline. And I would like all those really great conversations, even for 2 years out. I had on my wall, I had a big whiteboard, and I would put the person's name, and I would put like color code your months. And that way that those names are always there, because what we focus on expands, right? So if those names are always in front of you and that's your pipeline of business, I should be able to call you up and ask you, so what's in your pipeline for the next 3 months? What's in your pipeline for the next 6 months? What's in your pipeline for the next year? What's in the pipeline for the next 2 years? So then our journey and our goals become about filling that pipeline than it does about the closing. And what does filling that pipeline lead to?
Closes, yeah.
Yeah. And then, man, there is so much satisfaction when you erase somebody off of there after you close them. You're like, yeah, now I got to replace it. And calling our leads takes on a whole new meaning. So you're like, I got to fill my pipeline. And we're not calling our leads because we need to. We're calling our leads because we want to. Because now it's like, oh God, we have to have X amount of people in our pipeline, and just reversing that. Like, how many closings do you want a month is what's really going to help you learn how to build that pipeline. But you have to know what the lead wants.
True.
And so maybe my challenge to you could be right now is go back into your leads that you've been nurturing and you've been talking to that may have ghosted you. Just leave them a voicemail. Say, hey, it's been a minute since we talked. I just want to check in, and I really want to get an idea of what are your expectations? Because I'm sitting here looking at homes. I was driving through a neighborhood and I was thinking about you and didn't know if this is a neighborhood you wanted. Could we have a conversation just to really go deeper with your expectations? And I think you'll be pleasantly surprised at the responses that you get, because people want to be heard. People want to talk. If you give them the platform, if you ask the question and let them talk, that's what creates.
Now, if I'm following up that way, is it okay if I leave them a voicemail and a text message, or just one is good?
So you can leave the voicemail and just follow up with a text. Say, hey, just left you a voicemail. You can shoot me a text or give me a call. So that way you're just confirming that you left the voicemail.
Okay, got it.
Yep. Or you can even just shoot him a text. Say, hey, I was thinking about you, and I don't know that I really got clarity on exactly what your expectations are. Could we schedule a call? And they'd be like, what?
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. And so I'm going to leave you all with this. Do not take it personal if people do not respond to your text, because I am just as guilty of not responding to my children's texts as I am the leads not responding, right? So we have text messages that come through at inopportune times. We see it pop through on our phone. We mentally respond. It gets buried by the time we respond, and then we don't get back to it. So it's okay to realize, okay, I sent that text to that lead at 9 o'clock this morning, and now it's 6 o'clock this evening. Just bump it up. Just like a Facebook post, right? Like, I'm going to comment to bump it up to the top. So you don't know how far down that text message went in their screen because they mentally responded. Just go, hey, check it in. Did you get my text? That's okay. Because people are like, oh gosh, I'm so sorry.
Okay.
Some people respond a couple days later too. I've been sending some mass text for somebody, and like I'll notice the responses sometimes come in 2 days later. And it's not that they're not wanting to respond. They're just busy. Like Beverly says, they may have saw it, never respond, and then they're going through their phone like, oh shoot, I never responded to this, right? And then those responses don't always come in right away, right? People are busy or sidetracked or out of service.
Crystal, I know we're at time, but was there any questions that popped up in the Q&A or in the questions? Everybody's quiet.
Nope. Everyone's quiet, just taking it all in today.
It was a great one. Thank you so much, Adil, for your time today.
Hey,
great.
Thank you. You were the one who was telling me how to do things, so thank you.
All right. Well, good luck. Go get them, Tiger.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Take care.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks, Beverly. See you next week. Okay.
I'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
No, I know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, next week.
Bye-bye.
All right. Bye, guys.